Hey guys, what's going on? Hope everybody's doing good today. Actually, it's tonight when I'm filming this video here, and hope everybody's having a good evening. But some of these videos I'm going to start doing a little bit later in the evening because, like I said, I got 3 young boys here at the house, and I'm always having to put out some type of a fire at some point, arguing or just not getting along for some reason. So you guys probably have probably seen that a little bit if you've watched my videos. So probably start doing some of these videos a little bit later in the evening like this, especially the ones that require a little bit more of a focused train of thought here, like this one I'm going to give tonight. And what I want to talk about tonight is one, actually, it's a subject that I've been thinking about a lot for years. And that's how the younger generation of anglers, and even some anglers that are not so young, are basically losing a lot of their natural abilities, their instincts, and their awareness on the water. And I sort of want to have a discussion about that a little bit. And one of the things I'm going to do with this channel, guys, is I'm always going to continue to interject some of the non-traditional fishing information in it. I mean, YouTube's full of just how-to stuff, how to rig worms and that type of stuff. And if you guys watch my channel, you know I sort of like veer off of that quite a bit. And I'm going to continue to do that, particularly on these subjects that talk about the mental side of fishing, because I've always said it and I'll say it again. If you want to become a great angler and you want to accelerate your learning curve by big margins, you've got to understand the mental part of fishing. And if you just focus on the tips and techniques, you're not gonna get that good. You're just gonna limit yourself. So for those of you that stay with me on this particular video, much appreciated, because I know it's a smaller segment of my subscribers that are interested in this stuff. And I highly suggest everybody to just listen up on some of this stuff. I think it could really help you out a lot. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about this younger anglers losing instincts and awareness. Back when I started fishing tournaments years ago, and back even when I was a little kid, fishing centered around awareness and instincts and intuition to a large degree. I mean, you had most of the fishing back then was anything that you could see, and it didn't have much to do with stuff you couldn't see under the water. And it still is to a large extent. Over the course of a year, out of all the bass tournaments in the country, the majority of the bass tournaments are still won in shallow water, and they'll continue to be that simply because there's more cover shallow in most lakes. But what has happened is, with the advent of technology, and this is getting worse and worse and worse every year, specifically the younger generation of anglers that are being taught how to fish, and they're crafting their skills at a young age with basically the boom and the increasing technology. Many of those anglers out there, the younger guys and even some of the older guys, are not acquiring the instincts and the awareness that they need to have as an angler. And this is fine. I mean, if somebody is totally focused on being a deep water angler and they don't have any inclination or clue or desire to want to fish shallow, then what I'm talking about may not really apply to you. But the things I want to point out here and the advice I want to give are for those anglers that want to be well-rounded, versatile anglers. I'll use Johnny Schultz as an example of Fish in a Moment. Johnny is a prime example of somebody that is he's an expert at technology, he's an expert at offshore fishing, but he's also a student of the sport, and he knows how to catch fish out of 12 inches of water or 60 foot of water. So even though he has crafted a following and a niche for fishing offshore with electronics, being a student of the sport, and he still, expands his areas into those shallow water areas. Not a lot of people do that. There's not a lot of anglers that do that, and I see this particularly on younger anglers that really get locked into electronic technology. What happens when you do that is you take yourself away from the core part of bass fishing, what really allows you to excel as an angler on a lot of different techniques. And for example, what I'm talking about is a big part of bass fishing out there is feel. It's just like my channel says, it's intuition. And one of the things that I've always done as an angler, and one of the things, if you talk to a lot of the old school dudes like, myself and Clun and Denny Brower and Roland Martin and, all the guys that have, been doing this, for over 40 years, they know, they have the ability, when you get into an area, the first thing that comes to your mind is that you don't intellectualize what you see in front of you. You pay attention to how you feel internally in this particular area. That is instincts, that's part of your intuition and your awareness based upon everything coming together. The old school dudes like myself, when we roll into an area, we take everything in. We take the direction of the wind, how the wind's hitting us on our face. We can feel the humidity or the lack of humidity in the air. You get a sense of the wildlife activity up on the bank. You get a feel for the direction of the wind on how it's hitting the boat and how it's hitting the bank and the exact angle it's hitting the bank with the exact velocity. And you have all of these indicators and all these factors coming together externally in the environment that gives you this feeling of basically if it's going to be good or not, if it's going to be any good or not, based upon your instincts and your intuitions on that and your awareness. Because the more aware you are, the more that you absorb the information that you have given to you. And I'm not talking about absorbing the information about being able to read a live scope in 60 foot of water. I'm talking about the information that the natural world is giving you, the clues that it's giving you to actually figure out how to catch these bass. And I see the younger anglers losing this a lot. It's just like they don't understand exactly what that is. They don't understand awareness and intuition and instinct. It's something that's foreign to them. So many of them are being raised and they see fishing as something that is just, everything is intellectualized and everything is in front of them and everything is nothing but just blips on an electronic screen, and that is the awareness they have. I mean, they have, some of these younger anglers have a tremendous amount of awareness in reading electronics and deciphering electronics and setting up electronics, but that is almost like an artificial world in a little bit, because take that away from them and what do they have? I mean, if you take some of the younger anglers out there right now that have had tremendous success with like live scope, side imaging, down imaging, and they basically carved a career around that particular technology, if you take those tools away from them, then what do they have? How good are they at that point? And that's one of the things that's changed a little bit. That's one thing that is just like, I see it a lot with like a lot of the co-anglers that I fish. I mean, the co-anglers that I fish with today, they're better now than a lot of the pros were 10, 15 years ago, simply because of things like this at YouTube. The information, network is out there. Nothing's being hidden. It's like when guys do good in a tournament, you're in the boat with them. You can see exactly what they do. Their learning curve has been cut in half a lot. But still, all this stuff has come about. All this information and this knowledge has been come about from an unnatural source. It's been come about through social media, through YouTube, through watching it on television. It hasn't come from dirt time, spending time on the water, and developing that awareness that comes with years and years, or somebody teaching you how to do something like that. And I'll share a quick story with you guys when I'm talking about awareness, how just basically how oblivious people are to awareness. One of my favorite stories was shared with me by this guy that ran this wilderness survival school that I attended about 30 years ago. And they were basically, give us a little course on awareness like this. And he said that the guy that was teaching the course was telling us about the person that basically taught him about awareness when he was a little kid. And he said one time they were walking out in the woods when he was a little kid, and his mentor that he called grandfather, he was, like an 85-year-old man, and Tom, the instructor of the course, was only like 10 or 12 years old at the time. And he said they were walking through the woods, and grandfather was just looking straight ahead down, scanning the path they were on in the woods. And he looked back at Tom and he said, "Don't disturb him." And Tom was going, "What are you talking about? Don't disturb who?" And grandfather, he didn't even look up. He just kept looking forward, and he pointed up in the air. And Tom looked up there, and he said there was an owl in the tree right above him. And he's like, and he went to grandfather and said, "How in the world did you know that there was an owl there? I know you didn't even look up. I was looking right at you." And he said, "I didn't have to know." He said, "I could watch the mice in front of me. I could see how the mice reacted that crossed the path in front of me." And grandfather, after spending 80 years in the woods, he was so in tune and so aware with the movements of the natural world and the creatures that he automatically took that information and he knew what was going on. That's the same in bass fishing. That's what I'm talking about as far as in bass fishing, about young anglers are losing those abilities. They're losing that awareness, and technology has taken the place with that. So the point is what do we do about it? Is that the path we want to lead these younger anglers down, to the fact where all of their skills atrophy except for just their ability to decipher electronic technology? No, we're not. The thing that we have to do is, we have to teach these anglers at a younger age that that's just part of it. I mean, that's just part of it. You have to develop your skills as an angler, and part of those skills is awareness and intuition and instinct. Those are the strongest things we have as anglers. The ability that you have as a bass angler to excel is not going to be how quick you can tie an FG knot, or how all these tricks and tips on how to modify baits that I teach you guys all the time. That stuff's going to help a little bit, but the things that's going to really make you a solid hammer as an angler is if you understand the importance, and if you work on your instincts and your intuition and awareness. It's going to help you in everything you do. It's going to help you in your fishing. It's going to help you in every other part of your life. It's just something that we all need to do as anglers. But it doesn't get any attention because it's not instant gratification. That's the world we live in. We live in a world that we want instant gratification, and things that take time and things that take mental thought and focus get put on the back burner to a large degree. Not by everybody, but to a large degree. That's just a product of the society we live in. I think we sort of have to get beyond that. So anyway, that's just a few thoughts, guys, on that. Just wanted to bring that up. I've been thinking about it for quite a long time. I'm going to be talking about this a lot more moving forward. I'm going to try to frame it in a way that is more appealing to more anglers, because like I said, every time I talk about stuff like this, so many people just ignore it. And I want to try to hammer home the fact how important this is in your bass fishing. That can really, really, complement other things you do. If you're a deep water fisherman and you've got 5, $4,000 units on your boat, this is only going to complement your offshore skills and your ability. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, guys. Like I said, hope you all doing good today. We'll be back soon with another one. See you.